Hi guys, in this week's episode of Taylor Talks Trades, we are with Craig Gallagher from Quinnergy. He's telling us about how he's used social media to build trust in a brand and also how he's hired people that can do the things that he can't. I hope you enjoy. Alright Craig, welcome to Taylor Talks Trades. I'll start where I always start. How did you get into the trade?
Right, how did I get into the trade? Well, I kind of fell into the trade, to be honest.
Yep.
My dad's into the pub and hotel game. He had pubs, hotels, nightclubs and all that. And I used to work for him at the weekends and stuff like that. And then my dad, when I was leaving school, didn't do too well at school, so kind of wanted out. But I thought I would just go and work for him.
Yep.
And he said no. So I wasn't allowed to do it. So, you know what I mean? I don't know if you get it at this school here, but you get this form out and it was like all these apprenticeships and trades. It was like,
I don't know if we had that. I think we just had one that they wanted me to sign and they were
and
like,
that was
get out of here.
No, ours was like, do you want to be a landscape? It was like a
Right,
greenkeeper, painter.
yep.
It was all with the council. And I just looked at the hourly rate and the electrician was like 40 pence more than anything else. So I was like, I want to go for that. But I didn't get it. But my sister's husband at the time, their boyfriend at the time, his best pal worked for a big electrical company.
Right.
And he got us an apprenticeship.
Brilliant.
Basically Sunday, you know. So
Brilliant.
I genuinely fell into it, knew nothing about electrics, didn't want to be an electrician. I just actually wanted to make money.
Aye.
And that was a company called DJ Steel. Quite a big outfit. And then they get bought over by Carillion.
Yep.
Through my apprenticeship, because I knew Greg, he was working his way up. He was in an kind of executive director at the time. Got put in a junior engineer's role. Went and done my college, and then was going into a kind of management supervisory position.
Yep.
And then I messed it up like within 4 years. I think I've talked about this before, but anyway, I took my privileges for granted, and I was going around these sites to do asset registering.
Right.
And I found a really, really, really quick way and efficient way of doing this.
Right.
And I was like clocking in at 9:30 and clocking back out at 11:30 every day for about 3 months.
And what were you meant to be doing? Were you meant to be there the full day, like?
Well, technically, that's what I was kind of getting priced for.
Right, okay.
I didn't know that at the time. I was young, naive, 19. Just think I was a ticket. Turning up, I had a BMW M3 and all at the time. I was ticked up to my eyeballs. And anyway, I found this really, really good way of doing this. So we're just going around assets, and this is when tagging them was just coming out. So I found this new way of like tagging them with a system and a printer and a computer and logging it all at the exact same time.
Yep. What's tagging them? Sorry, is that like
so that like you see this more in industrial plants and offshore and all that. So it's like you tag and it's got a barcode.
I got you. Aye. Yeah.
And then when somebody goes over, they scan it and it would tell you what maintenance was needed at that time and how old it was and all that kind of stuff. Now this was really new age. This was going back more than 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But I just found this way of doing it. People were doing it, writing it all down and going back and downloading or basically you didn't download stuff then. You had to photocopy all the manuals and then put that in. But I just found this way of doing it. So I was doing it 2 hours and then I was doing 100 every day.
Yeah.
Me thinking that's what they wanted.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Well, it was.
It was, but no.
But then at 3 months when our invoice came in from the company, it gets straight back down saying, we're not paying this. Your guy was only in 2 hours every day.
Right. So you'd actually like kind of done the amount of money by being super efficient.
I should have just stayed on site.
And was that all right? The way that was like, see the way you were doing it. It wasn't cutting a corner. It was just a new, better, efficient way. Right. Okay.
And so really, what I should have done now, looking back on it, is I should have done hundreds in that day and finished the project early.
Yeah.
And then kind of moved on. But I was being fly and going home. I had a car wash at the time. Selling football tops and everything, doing all that, everything that you do back in the day to make money. So I was going and working in the car wash and selling football tops and claiming for a full day's wage and all that.
Oh no!
So I was asked to leave.
Right, okay.
And then that's how I got into being self-employed. I basically went self-employed electrician. Did that for a while, and then again went back into the kind of car trade. went down a kind of wrong route, got myself back out, and then went and worked overseas. Went and worked in Iraq,
Yep.
and then Afghanistan, and then worked in the North Sea. Started to make really, really good money, but the quicker I was making it, the quicker I was spending it.
So it's just come back out the back end, kind of.
I just had that lifestyle.
I knew it, but no really kind of putting it
nothing,
into
anything,
and
no
nothing to show
assets
for it as such.
No, I was just taking out more and more finance.
You're right into your cars and that, eh? So was it all cars and that you were getting?
Basically, hundreds of cars, but totally in the wrong way, like financing them up.
Yep.
And fancy holidays and all that for nothing. Do you know what I mean?
You've got to live a wee bit as well, though, I guess, eh? But it's just getting that balance.
I mean, we did love it. I loved it at that time. I loved that lifestyle.
But it's brilliant.
You couldn't keep up with it. And then I had a pure, really, really bad depression. I got married to my ex-wife at the time, and then had my first child, my only child, Quinn.
Yep.
And then just felt really like lonely. I just felt as though I was looking in at my life rather than living it. Just wanted to do something different, didn't know what it was, but I just decided to get out of the life I was in, separated, moved out of the family home, and kind of moved in with my friend and my mum and dad, and then set up Quinnergy. Just wanted to go back to what it was and build something that was going to be mine.
Yep.
And then set up Quinnergy, and that was 6 years ago.
Yep.
That's where we are now.
Yeah. So was that you were self-employed electrician there, and then you just thought, nah, this isn't the life I want to be living, and then at that point.
So I was self-employed, and then the recession came in.
Right.
And then that's when I went and worked abroad.
Yep.
Because it was too hard to make the good money. I was getting £1,000 a week.
You were used to it with this point.
Aye. Being self-employed, we talked about this before. I was making really good money being self-employed.
Yep.
Clearing £1,000 a week in my hand every week. Again, 15 years ago, a lot of money. And then it just dried up, disappeared. And I went over to Afghanistan. It was like 60 grand a year tax-free. Worked my way up there. End up being on 120 grand a year tax-free.
Wow. Like
footballers' money. And not got a penny to show for it. But then after that, that's when I came back, and I was working for a company, kind of going up and down to Aberdeen. It was my cousin's company, a family business. Yep. Going up and down to Aberdeen, and just really lackluster. Just two different lives. Yep. Going away and being this different person offshore, and then coming back and trying to be this family man of, like, trying to be in society of following everything. I just wasn't happy. Quite hard, aye. So that's when I decided to go effectively self-employed again. Yep. So I set up Quinnergy. Yep. It's just me. It was just me.
So this was just 6 years ago then?
6 years ago in March.
Aye. Well, there's two ways to look at it. It's like only 6 years ago, or like it probably feels like 26 years ago.
It totally does, because see what I've done in these 6 years. Yep. I mean, not that I'm going back to say I was like homeless or whatever, but at the same time, I didn't have a base. Yep. I was living from my friend's house, my mum and dad's house, living from my van, living from bags of clothes, no money. Like, the money I had was paying to my ex and the old house to keep everybody going. So you had a lot of responsibility and a lot of guilt. But then that just gave me the fire in my belly to drive forward and push Quinnergy. It was kind of almost sink or swim, really, when you look at it like that. 100%. You couldn't fail, because there wasn't really an option. I know, you had to make the money. Yep. You had to turn up, do the work, and get the money in. Yep. Now, that's something, you can always try and get the work and get the work and do it, but getting that money in off of people. Get paid as well, aye. So I had all of that going on. But I found a wee niche, found a good market, went after it, soon realised that I couldn't do the admin, get dyslexia and Asperger's and stuff like that. So I really, really struggled with the communication, dragged me down. Yep. So I just realised I need to bring somebody in. So I brought Amy in, she dealt with all the admin, and it led me to go out and work 10, 12, 16 hours a day. And we were working, for the first 18 months, I was generally working every single day of the week to get all this work done, and she was working behind the scenes, getting all invoiced out, getting the money in, getting the work orders in, doing all that. So that was key to us.
Yeah.
If that didn't happen,
Yeah.
I don't know where I would have been.
I'm just seeing like a wee theme there maybe. So see, like yours are obviously quite process and efficient, like way how your systems and things work now. Is that possibly because the Asperger's and the dyslexia, and is that how, see when you let go almost or asked to leave by that company, did you think you found that workaround because you had to?
Aye.
Like that's like, so you actually use that as a strength. That's quite
totally. So
quite good,
what
that.
I was doing offshore was a lot of process type stuff.
Yeah.
So it was easy. You just followed what you done.
Yeah.
So that's what I've brought into Quinnergy. Is that's why we try to keep it niche and also specialist in what we do.
Yeah.
And not going after
and it's
rewires.
landlords and certification is compliance is
so effectively
basically what your niche is, isn't it?
An MOT for a rental property.
Yeah.
All right. So for a rental property, you need a certain amount of certificates every year or periodically, so you can safely rent out your property.
Yeah.
And why we fit in there is it's a requirement. So if you can deliver that service the first year, you should get it repeatedly off every client.
Yeah.
Bit like a maintenance contract.
Aye, do a good job and they'll keep you
You'll
going.
keep you going. So that's what I stayed to
there.
there.
Model, because like for us in roofing, the bulk, like we've got some maintenance plans and stuff that we do, but the bulk of our stuff is like, you're kind of want to replace somebody's roof, they didn't want to ever see you again.
Exactly.
You know? We might go out and maybe clean the gutters out annually for them or something like that, but the reality is it's like one and done. So
it's a big ticket price.
We always start for zero every year, and then we've got that monumental task to get up through the mountains again every year. So
when I was setting this up, I did it. So that's what I was thinking of, is I had the opportunity to go out and do kitchens, or going to work for a guy who's doing kitchens and bathrooms. So I did obviously do that at the start to get the money in, but I just felt as though doing the EICRs, that's electrical testing, so it's an electrical condition report, was where I thought I could dominate, because I could bring the stuff that I learnt from facilities management, bring it into this, do everything digital. If you think of it, you're getting an electrician to go out, was doing all the testing and inspection, and then going home at night and writing it on a bit of paper, and then scanning it, and then emailing it to the next person.
Quite a long process, eh?
Totally.
I take it that took quite a bit of time as well. So is this where the landlords would be quite frustrated about, because they need that back fast,
letting agents. So if you've got a property that's saying, oh, we're going to rent this house out tomorrow, but know how to get the right paperwork, I'm saying to them, I'll come today, do it, you'll have it when I leave the property.
So what could happen there? Like, so see if a letting agent didn't get that paperwork and like let somebody go in there, but would it just be like, if something happened, then it would be like you should never have moved them in, or is it just totally illegal to do that?
It's totally illegal to do it, right? So it's part of the government. It's in the government website or government regulations for it. Now, that is what it is. If something was to happen, you didn't have it,
like a fire or something, like
you're really under trouble.
You've not got that, you're involved.
The other thing is if it goes to a first tier tribunal. So say you're living a property and it's damp, or there's another issue. When it goes to this bank of solicitors, which is the first tier tribunal, the first question they ask for is, let me see all your compliance and all your paperwork and your maintenance regimes. So see all these people that don't get them done. So you meant to get a PAT, gas safety, a Legionella check every kind of year for gas safety, meant to be a year for PAT. Some people try and spin out to every 2 or 5 years. If you're not showing that you're doing that on a competency level, the solicitors are not going to have your back. So that's the other reason for doing it. The other thing is you're moving a tenant in, could be an elderly lady, could have somebody with young children, could be somebody that's disabled, and there's a broken socket or a broken light. The letting agent's not going to know that. The landlord's not going to know it. And somebody can come in and hurt themselves.
Aye, absolutely.
So that's the other reason side of it. So that's why we go in to do it. So I brought the digital side of that. I mean, 6 years ago, it doesn't seem that long ago, but a lot of this wasn't digital then.
Nah, it makes sense, like things have moved pretty quick, to be fair.
So I seen that kind of work, that system we're talking about, the tagging, I've followed that all the way through my life. And some of the software that I was using back then, I've recoded to bring into our company just now.
That's good.
So we used a system to do all this electronically and automatically send the reports and invoice straight away. So there was no kind of
Brilliant.
admin.
And so see when you first started with Quinnergy that 6 years ago, like obviously see the brand now, kind of everywhere, hard to miss with all the WQs everywhere, and the branding, the workwear, the vans, you know, the social media presence, Instagram and all the rest of it, it's really good. So was that there in the beginning, or was it just kind of do a bit of everything and then you niche down and then you sort of started taking branding seriously? Was there
I think
crossover?
So for the first year, it was more about like B2B sales.
Yeah.
So it was like, I had one really good client at the start, a company called Cairn Letting, who my partner at the time worked for.
Yeah.
And they kind of gave us a shot, right? They started giving us EICRs, and then we're like, oh my God, this is brilliant, how you do this, how it all works out.
Yep.
And then they said, oh, we struggle with the gas safeties. Decided to bring in my friend who was a gas engineer at night and weekends, done all that and worked it up. And then it got to the stage where after a year, it was like, this is something.
Yeah.
So I was going around other letting agents saying, I can provide this service, it's brilliant, and all this carry on. And they're like, right, okay, if we need you, we'll phone you. Like that type of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And then that's when I decided, do you know what? I need to try and do something to get ourselves out there and get people to see it. And I kind of thought outside the box, because I was going to all these letting agents and they were all kind of younger girls.
Yeah.
And they were all on social media.
Yeah.
And then so I decided, let's try and push on social media. Now, how do you get a compliance business to be found on social media? Very difficult.
Yeah.
So that's when I started to just try and use different things, try and be funny, try and be edgy, try and have the vans looking good.
Yeah.
So that it just gets attraction.
Yeah.
And it just grew arms and legs. I was very big on LinkedIn because of my previous jobs. See, working abroad, you get a big following then.
Aye.
So it was quite easy to just change direction on that.
That's pretty good.
But on LinkedIn, you get a lot of criticism because it was not work related.
Aye.
So I was starting to put funny stuff out there, or edgy stuff on LinkedIn 5-6 years ago, and I was getting...
LinkedIn wasn't ready for it then, but it's time to... It's
now.
all right now. The platform's changed.
I was getting dogs abuse on it.
Because it's almost like flipped now. It's like, see if you're just trying to say, we do compliance, we do this. If you're needing this, people's just like, nah, it's just sales pitch after sales pitch. Whereas if you just go on and say, this is who I am, this is what I'm all about, and if you like that, then you want to do business with us, then brilliant.
Well,
and it's like
people buy for people, so I'm looking at LinkedIn as a kind of networking thing.
I think there's so many businesses now. Like obviously, there's always been a lot of businesses, but like nowadays, there must just be so many that people are looking for. Like, who's behind these businesses? What's making them different? And are they being authentic? And are they like you showing up and saying who you are and what you're doing and giving them a bit of your personal life? I think is probably a great thing.
It gives you the trust on it.
Yep. I mean, because you're putting yourself out there, and it's just...
Well, that's how I started to do more of the Instagram and more of the personal touch things, is putting my face on it, putting other guys' faces on it, putting their vans in other locations.
I've noticed that's good. Like I've seen your Instagram stories. It's pretty good because it's like a day in the life almost, but it's not just you. It could be like your other guys doing that, and I think that's pretty good because it's showing their personality as well.
Well, it's hard to get the guys to buy into that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them don't want to be seen, and a lot of them, it's weird, they don't have the confidence for doing it. I didn't as well. I mean, I still struggle with it, but the good thing about the stories is it disappears the next day.
Yeah, aye.
Do you know what I mean?
Makes sense, aye.
So the more you do it, the more you get used to doing it, and the more people follow. It's like we maybe get 2,000 people viewing our stories every day.
Yeah.
Where
that's a lot.
Well, 2 or 3 years ago, we're lucky if you're getting 100. You're lucky to get 20 or 30.
Yeah.
But that is just constantly turning up.
And now if it wasn't there, like people would be like, oh, where's Quinnergy?
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, because sometimes I'm too busy. There's sometimes where I've got other things going on and I'm forgetting to put something out. But that's when you look in your team to go and try and get them. So
it's good the way that you've done that, actually, that they're posting if you're no posting kind of thing.
Well, our majority of our team have the logins for all the socials. So they've got the opportunity if they want to, but they're just as busy as well.
Yeah.
They're there to turn up and do the work.
The thing is, if we're being honest, nobody's really got time for social media.
Nah.
If you're running a good successful business, it's hard to be on social media, but it's almost like if you're no there, then
I know
people's no seeing you. It's really difficult.
You need to try and include it into your day.
Yeah, I think that's the one.
A small proportion.
Yep.
That's why I get up early. I'll do maybe 20 minutes of scheduling,
Yep.
posts,
Yep.
and stories and all sorts of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and then go on with my day.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I'm in a situation on that day, I'll maybe take a wee picture or a video.
Aye. That's what I always think. Like, there's something that I just didn't like about like scheduled posts. It's because when I see that go out, and I know we've got somebody who we kind of outsource our social media, the like most of it, and I just kind of go in and approve all the posts and stuff like that. But it comes out like a few weeks later, and I'm just like, that's not relevant to me today. But I'm sometimes thinking too much about what I think rather than that's relevant to the audience that's there. So why are you worried about that?
It's weird that some posts will do well, some reels will do well. Again, you'll think that's relevant at the time, the situation you're in. But I think, see, when you're posting, that needs to be really like the same kind of theme all the way
You've
across.
got to kind of carry it through.
Same colours, same type of pictures, same type of content.
We've kind of like, I know, like they say, you should probably post 3 to 5 times a week on your socials. It's different if you're doing stories kind of all day. That's actually not something we do, but it's probably something that we probably should do.
It's the easiest thing to do.
But the sort of, we definitely post about 3 or 5 times a week anyway, and like I'll try and block it into themes almost. So I'll maybe be like, right, this day might be like a review type post, so we might have like a nice looking review that's all kind of labelled up with our stuff and the customer signed it off kind of thing, and it's like, so one of them might go out every week, and then you've got like the services that we offer. So this week you could have like a slate roof, a tiled roof that week, lead work the next week, whatever it might be, and then just kind of trying to theme it in that sense. But it is difficult.
Do you ever like show like a task being done? Like some... So just a bit of lead work or something like that, or a repair?
We probably didn't do enough of it, if I'm honest.
That's what I would be getting into.
Instagram would be good for that, I think.
Get a guy, put a head cam on his hard hat, or set up like a still video, and just video the full process. But then it's all about editing the right bits and wrong bits. And it opens yourself up for people that are health and safety minded. Or that's the only bad thing from it. You get a lot of
criticism if, oh my God, you didn't have a bit of edge protection there, or you didn't have this, and it's...
So it does open you up for certain things, but then...
It also shows the other people what you're doing though.
So I would always advocate to try and get as much of that done. We try our best. Like, we've got wee Kaelin, who's out in his scooter. We've trained him up to do certs now. But we brought him on to do our content, write our blogs, do some videos, do some photographs, and now we realised we need to train him up because the video guy sometimes videos the wrong stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Makes sense.
And thinks he's just making a nice, good video.
But it's actually not at all.
But the guy's left the socket squint and all that. You're like, I can't believe that's online. But see, to be honest, it just like you've just got to
own it. You've got to own that. Exactly. So if somebody goes, that socket squint, you're like, we know, we went back, we changed it. But like,
it was done out of the camera's view.
It's better than. I guess if you're not showing nothing, then you've no substance to actually like what it is that you're doing, and people need to see that.
People always say, "Oh, you must get a lot of work off your socials and stuff." I generally don't know if we get a lot of leads, but we get a lot of trust.
But that would make sense.
And also, like, now that people, when they see us and somebody saying, "Oh, I've got a rental property, I'm struggling to get the electric checks or gas," somebody say, "Oh, Quinnergy will do that," because I've seen them and I know that's what they do. And then if that person Googles you, our website's ranked very high organically. We'll also be running ads. We'll have all our social medias. It'll be like a full page of Quinnergy. If you put in landlord compliance or safety certificates or EICR Glasgow, we should be on the first page of within 2 or 3 like bits. And that is because you're constantly doing stuff in social media and you're writing.
So keeping it all.
So that's why it's good to keep on top of it. Because
we've been quite big on like because we work predominantly for like private homeowners, we're quite big on like them leaving us good reviews. So like if you go on like Google or
Trustpilot,
like we didn't actually use Trustpilot. I know I've seen a lot of people using it.
We did, but they tried to monetize it. They tried to charge us.
So we use Google. Which is quite difficult to get somebody to leave a Google review. I think the process of getting them to go in through it's hard, but we've got quite a lot on there. So in West Lothian, it's probably like 120 sort of good reviews on that, and then we've got the West Lothian Council, like it's a trusted trader scheme, and then we've got the Edinburgh Trusted Trader scheme as well. So that's probably our main ones, in our Facebook as well. But across same platform, say we've maybe got like, I don't know, like 700 plus reviews. They're all, I think, near enough everyone's like a good review.
Yep.
There's maybe like 1 or 2 1-stars in there, which is the norm, kind of. Is that even real or whatever?
Well, that's when your replies need to be good.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Very factual with it.
But what we've done with the reviews is that we make sure. So, like, see if you go and look on any of them platforms, like we'll have had like a handful of reviews last week, the week before that, the week before that. So we've almost got like a system that works where the guys know to ask for the reviews. If you're doing a good job and the customer's happy, like ask them to leave you a review. And I think that's good to show that, because if we maybe look at just even say some of our competitors maybe on them similar platforms, you might look and it's like they've not left a review like the tail end of 2022, and now we're like we're into the first quarter of sort of nearly the first quarter of 2023, and it's like, why you not got any good reviews in the last 3 months? That's doesn't really look too great.
That's a great tool. And it used to be a really good tool for Google. Google used to rank your website higher. They don't actually use it anymore. But it's good for that, for people to come on. We struggle because we're going into tenanted properties.
Exactly.
And it's not the tenant we're working for.
It makes sense.
So it's very difficult to
actually you're actually working for the letting agent, but then actually that's for the landlord. So it's like, who would actually leave you a review in that process? That's quite interesting, because you can see why we've done things differently. Because if I couldn't get reviews there, I would need to think of something else to showcase what we're doing. Like, for example, when we maybe did some work for like house builders and stuff like that, and we're doing the roofs there, you're not getting a review off anybody.
No, exactly.
You might get like maybe a recommendation on LinkedIn or something.
But you've done 100 houses.
Exactly, yeah. And it's the same for you. It's like, that's probably where the Instagram stories is actually possibly evolved from.
It's been relevant. And it's also showing the difficulties of what we come across every day. We used to put quite a lot of stuff on about the types of properties we're in. Clean, dirty, messy, all that stuff, to show what we're coming to.
I think like when I first kind of started seeing you on kind of socials, that's what I mind seeing. Like, it was just like, honestly, like this place is bogging. Do you know?
See the
I'm thinking, I wonder if he stays there. If they see that, they're going to play all you.
No, because it was difficult. These houses were ones that people had absconded from. All right, so I full understand if people are struggling, mental health or something else, and I've got yourself into such. We go into the properties every day, right? And I don't showcase that. And genuinely, we try to help the people. And we try to help the letting agent to let them know the situation the houses are in, to get them the help. And there's been a lot of our guys. We had a project on. We went back to one of our houses. It was very, very messy. And 5 of our engineers went back and we tidied the house up for. It was an older guy. Tidied the house up for him, cleaned all the walls, painted it all again, rented property for nothing. We didn't. I mean, I'm talking about it now, but we didn't showcase it. We didn't talk about it. We just done it because we wanted to try and help. But there has been
that
times.
News travels fast. Like, people, even though you maybe didn't go, oh, look what we did. Like, people hear about that stuff.
Oh, the letting agent loved it.
The
letting agent found out from the tenant after we'd done all this. We didn't go through the letting agent or anything, and now they love working with us. Do you know what I mean? But I could have easily took a video of that and said, look at this, how this guy lives. Look at this, we've got to come in here and work. I was only doing that on properties that were left empty. People that had lived there for 3 or 4 years without tidying it, had subletted it. And I was showing other landlords what you could get yourself into if you don't have a good letting agent, or if you don't keep on top of things. And so that's all I was trying to do with it. I wasn't trying to open it up for a mental health debate.
No, absolutely. And what's kind of been the process now? Like, kind of them, we've kind of dipped in and out a wee bit. Like, where you started Quinnergy, the kind of 6 years ago, you're kind of up into the multi-millions, the kind of turnover bracket now, and you've obviously got a big team, systems, processes. Like, what's the kind of growth plans? Is that to go up through the gears more, or level this out, or how's that?
This year we're about 2 million. We're just over 30 staff. And
it's a big animal, eh?
Oh, it's massive.
2 million.
2.4.
And
even see when you say the 2.4, see the 400 grand, I wasn't making it until about year 2.5. And I was probably making personally better money then than what I am now. But when you're saying like 2.1, all the wee points
add up.
Are actually quite a bit. So included in all that, right, I've got into some stupid numbers. Our insurance for our vans is 60 grand a year. Our wages is close to that every month. Like, that's what you've got to find
Yep.
now. Mate,
Yep.
My first year I made 60 grand.
Yep. That's
You know what I
mad, eh? It's mad.
So it's
And what do you think that is now, mate? Is that because I'm in a similar boat? Your turnover levels, staff levels are very similar to yours, and probably like if we're both being 100% honest, you could probably go back a few years and be like a one-man band with somebody working with you, and probably actually make
more
similar
money
to what you're making now, or make more. Is it just is this us going into a phase of your life where we're like we actually need maybe a lifestyle where we didn't need to be working like 24/7, or is it like the hope for the bigger picture? Like, what do you think that is? Because I didn't think you would, and I certainly wouldn't go back to being like I'll just be on my own then.
No.
So it's like there's definitely something that keeps us in it. What do you think
I
that
love
might
the
be?
drive and the achievement of doing different things, and I love seeing the progress of like the workers.
Aye.
So
I resonate with that. Like that's.
I love that,
Yeah.
and I love getting on new clients.
Yeah.
And I love doing the new. I love the drive. I love pushing the brand and getting more awareness.
Yeah.
It might be that makes you feel a bit bigger or better or whatever,
Mhm.
but that I love that.
Yep.
It's
a status kind of involved in
I think
achieving
so.
something really as well.
I mean, everyone you'll be scared to say, "Oh, that's given me a good status," but really, that's what you want in life.
Yeah.
You want to be respected.
Well, you've built something special.
Aye,
like it's something that's keeping 30 odd people in a job and
exactly.
and continuing to serve all of these hundreds and hundreds of
exactly.
letting agents that you'll serve.
And I love it when you see your own vans out and about.
Yeah.
Or it's just people talk about.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That I like that.
Mhm.
I've always kind of wanted that, and now I'm getting there. So I just want it to get more and bigger and better and safer.
Yeah.
Because there's still tipping points where every month you're like, is there enough money coming in?
Aye.
The cash flow is like the money's due in next month, but I need it now.
Yeah.
So there's always that tipping point. So that's why you're always on your toes, because it's not like you've always got it easy. If anything, you've got it harder the bigger you get. Now, when we're talking about how I got to that stage, is by bringing on better people into the company.
Yeah. To plug the gaps that you
Yeah.
weren't maybe doing, like the admin and then the
management now. I've got Ross who manages the guys, and effectively he's a general manager. He was the manager of the engineers, but he's a general manager now.
Yeah.
And we'll be bringing in we'll be training new guys up to be his position.
Yeah.
One for the plumbing and gas and one for the electrical.
Yeah, that's good.
And then we have Amy, who's a business manager.
Yeah.
Admin, business. She looks after all the clients, all the money, everything like that. So that's where we've grown, is by bringing in good engineers and having guys that are better than me at doing what it is.
It takes a lot to kind of say that as well, eh? But
No,
it makes total sense.
It's
like
totally
I
true.
think that's why I've done quite well. Like I've got people who like I'm great customer facing. So like when I used to go out and see somebody about getting their roof done, like I was great with all that. But see when it came back to like quoting that job, estimating it, typing up the email, sending it out. Whereas I've got guys like in my surveying team that's like amazing at that. So I can speak to somebody and be like, look, we'll get this done for you. This will be great. And I can just say to them, look, can you just estimate that, get it ready, and then I can go back and deliver it. And it makes things so much easier.
That's it. So I built the wee system, the wee processes. I was building that while we're going along and making sure when something did come in.
Yeah.
So just say a new client come in or a new work order in.
Yeah.
We get specific questions or things that we send back to get, so we have the right information for us to then upload onto our job.
Yeah.
And then get all the certs uploaded.
Yeah.
And do all that. And I learned straight away that doing all the certs was quite high admin. So we reduced the time the engineers spent doing the certs by getting the admin to build the certificates up and putting them onto jobs and then closing them down so the engineer wasn't doing it. Because even me, I was putting in wrong dates, wrong addresses, just different things. So our admin do that. That's why we have quite a high admin staff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it means that the engineers are getting
everybody doing
done.
the bit that they're amazing at. Like it's the same for us. It's like getting a roofer to try and kind of do all the paperwork and all of that stuff. It doesn't always make sense.
No.
Like we've got quite a big admin team as well, so it's like trying to have all of that stuff ready so that when they go, it's kind of there and they can try and concentrate on fixing roofs and
exactly
like doing the bit that they're really good at.
You've got engineers or roofers that are on 30 to 50 grand a year, and you've got admin between 16 and 24, and the admin can do the engineers' admin so much quicker than the engineers can. So just let them do their job and do that.
That's probably a big takeaway, I think, for anybody listening to this is like didn't get caught up in the bits that you're no good at. Like if you've like, can you maybe got dyslexia or Asperger's like you'd mentioned, or like me, I actually just got overwhelmed with tasks.
Too many.
Like I didn't know if it's anything to do with like an ADHD or anything like that, but it's just literally like, see if I've got like a pile of estimates today, I can't do it.
I bet you love when you go out and get all the work.
Like I can go and speak to people and I can sit and do a podcast, that's fine. But see when it comes to maybe like try to invite you on or get stuff like that all that admin.
Well, I mean, how difficult was it me and you talking? I don't do emails.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, I need to send you an email, and I'm like, send it to somebody.
I've not had an email in 5 years. I'm like,
so people don't understand. Like people don't understand. I've generally not read an email or sent an email.
But it doesn't make sense for you to sit and go through emails all day every day. And this is where, like, for me, hopefully any kind of trades business owners or guys in the trades that's watching or listening to this, they'll take that away. Be like, do the bit that you're really, really good at. Like that's what you've done. Essentially, that's what I've done. Like I'm probably more of a people person more than anything else. So I'm quite good at actually directing a business. And the longer I didn't be a director and I tried to be like a quoter and an estimator and all of that stuff, and even an operations manager, it's like, falls away. It's just, you're not doing the bit you're meant to do.
So I had a wee wobble about 6 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago, just the pressure, life and all that. I was like, I can't be bored with this. I'm not getting any money out of it. I'm not getting the satisfaction. It was that time of the year, you know, like the pure cold time.
It's like sad, they call it. It's like, what is it? It's like seasonal something disorder.
Depression. Seasonal. But I kind of had that, and I brought in Amy and Ross, and I'm like, I'm out. It's your guys, just fucking go with it. And they were like, nah. It's not for us.
Everybody knows they need the other bits. Everybody.
Well, that's what they said to me.
With each other and stuff. It's like everybody fits into the puzzle.
I said to them, "You have got the tools. You are better than you. Go and do it." And we're like, "No, we actually can't do it.
Because you're directing them.
We can't do it without your direction.
We go and do that. It's like you're coming up with ideas and they're executing them. Really is, and that's how.
So I needed that. I needed to hear that because what I was hearing was a lot of things not going to plan and firefighting all the time and dealing with guys' issues and engineers' issues and all that stuff. And I needed to hear that somebody was needing me to direct them.
That's good, because that's the thing, when you're in business, you're the owner, there's no many pats on the back, and you didn't really know how to give yourself one. You're like, was that good? Was it no? I just need to go after this next bit. So when somebody actually goes, look, we really need you, it does.
It makes it honestly that.
Just to let you know you're on the right attitude.
I flipped that night. The next day, man, we changed tunnels. I put the ads back on. I changed so many things.
You could see these people are actually relying on you. No, we need you, Craig. Like you need to go and be you, and then that allows.
So that was good. Again. So a bit again, back onto the kind of growth. The growth is, we obviously did. We asked ourselves, do we want to grow? Right, and we did. So I asked myself that, and I asked my family. A few people said no because they didn't want to stress, right? But I said yes. So that was the first part. Second part was market research. Going out and asking clients, can they give us more work? Is there other clients out there that need us? Do they need these services? And that was a yes, a massive yes. So that then made me go, right, we need to scale. And that's when I changed the kind of, I brought out the big branding then. The vans all changed. Everything was all branded. And our processes, I made flowcharts and processes for every single thing. How somebody answers the phone, how quickly they're on the phone, what questions they ask. You might get wee Mary, my Pat was down at the butcher's and that. And like, oh, that's lovely. Oh, by the way, did I get your address off you? I don't know, did we get the address? And then they go, oh no, it's this is the address then. And then they go back on the story. It's like how to deal with all that.
To try
so I had all that in. How we got work order emails in, all different things. And one of the things that I did, I mean, I shouldn't be saying this because I don't want our competitors hearing it, right? But one of the things we found out is, see if we can cut the phone calls and admin and emails and work orders down. I needed to find ways of doing that. So then what I started, I went on a lettings course, found out how all they work, found out what systems they use, trained up on their systems, and now I offer a service where we sign on to their software and their systems
Makes sense.
And pull off all their jobs without them having to contact us. So that's fine. How we grew quite quickly.
It's fine saying like you didn't want a competitor hearing that, but no many people would go and do that.
They
some
wouldn't
people
know
just
how
didn't
to.
want it enough to go and do that, because people go, oh, how have you done this? How have you grown? And then you tell them, and they go, nah, no thanks.
No, they wouldn't be able to, like, unless they
Yeah.
went and done what I've done, because they can say they'll provide that service,
Yeah.
right? Because somebody has, right? Somebody's tried to copy us,
Yeah,
and it totally failed. And the
Yeah.
client then came to us and said, "We've had this person, they've done this and
Yeah.
done that, and it's not worked."
and they can't see what that back end system is, what you've
No.
created.
It's not that, is our systems actually link into their systems,
Yeah,
and that was again quite a lot of expensive coding for that to work.
yeah,
I'm talking about 50 grand's worth
Yeah.
of actual systems
yeah,
to get that to work. So that's how I know that people can try it.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? I'm not here to actually tell people to go out, like, not go after my clients or
Yeah,
whatever. Quite comfortable with
Yeah.
competition.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I just know we'll do things better.
Brilliant, mate. Well, I'm kind of conscious of time, but that's flew in, mate. That was good. If people want to hear a wee bit more about that, you're speaking at the SBS Syndicate. Are you you're going to talk a wee bit more about systems and processes?
I think so. Aye.
So that's going to probably this will probably go out after that, but maybe if they're wanting,
there'll be another one after it.
Aye, so
it's the last Thursday of every month.
Yeah.
And we do our podcast every Monday morning, and I think yours will be going out this Monday.
Is it?
Which will be a couple of weeks after this.
Right. Okay.
All right,
we'll get all the dates probably.
Aye. So if anybody wants to kind of reach out to me
Yeah.
or the company, then you can get us on Instagram or LinkedIn, or just go to our website.
Perfect, mate. No, thanks very much for coming on, mate. I appreciate it. Brilliant.
Brilliant,
Good man.